Okay. I think I've gotten the custom live stream. So I've gotten the. No problem. Hey, good evening. Good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hope we are all doing well. Okay. Just give me a minute to set up YouTube. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll be starting now. So you're welcome to Zurich training for University for Good Collaboration 2022 cohort 2. Okay, and you're welcome to the NodeJS track. Okay, and we'll be basically start off. We'll basically start off with some of the problems or some of the questions that I have gotten from the form that was shared earlier. Okay, and from there we'll just start off. Okay. So first question I see here is, please, where can I find the link for the calendar? The link provided to join the Slack channel isn't valid also, please help. Okay, so first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for starting it. I'm really sorry for starting it. There's some technicalities that had to be sorted. Okay, link for the calendar. Once you start your you start doing your task in the LMS. Okay, you have the calendar task. Okay, by the time you want to start doing your calendar task, you get to where you need to where you will find the link, obviously, for the calendar task to be completed. And for now, links for invitation to the Slack channel has not yet commenced, so that is still pending. Okay. Still okay. The second question is still similar, calendar and then Slack also. Okay, so I guess I've answered the question. That is all the questions we have for today. But so today we will just go through some of the things you probably might experience even okay. Okay, so we would start off with one of the things we would. I'm trying to share my screen. I would use this. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so one of the topics we'll be treating this week is Git and GitHub. So I'll just go through what Git is, what GitHub is, and why you need it. Okay, and then obviously just do one or two things about it, how to get started with Git and GitHub. Very important. Okay. Um, there are also materials about what is programming and all that. Okay, you should know what that is. Let's go to the materials. You know what programming is, software programming, how computer, that the computer actually understands only binary codes, zeros and ones, nothing else. So anything we do in every app you see, every game you play, everything you do, every movie you watch with your computer, the whole process is a combination of zeros and ones. Okay, ones being like on and zeros being like off, like a light switch, on off. That's basically it for um, programming, what the computer understands. We call it binary codes. Okay, I don't want to go into that. I'll just go with Git and GitHub for today. Maybe tomorrow we'll go in depth into programming and what programming was. Okay, but materials are there, and I think the materials they say a lot extensively. Okay, so this is Git and GitHub. Let's see. Okay, we'll open this just for you to see. Don't look at the official documentation on Git and GitHub. Okay, so basically Git is a version control system. Okay, system whereby you can be able to version your changes you make to code. GitHub is like a platform built around Git. Okay, GitHub is just one of the platforms you use to execute Git. Okay, we have GitLab. Yeah, GitLab is there, which is also popular among developers. But the most popular we get everywhere is GitHub. It's universal. Almost everybody uses it. Okay, so basically, like I said, version control. You version your changes. So let's say I want to cook or I want to bake a cake. Okay, take for instance, I want to bake a cake. So what Git basically does is to number one, like I said, version the changes that go on. So as at the time I say, okay, I pour, let me say today, and let us say I want to make a cake and I want to make a cake within the span of 10 days. Let us say making a cake is that hard, okay? It's that hard, and I will need to do it over the span of 10 days, okay? So that's how I get the flour and the flour or the butter, okay? The butter actually, butter and sugar first, and I start turning the butter and sugar. Okay, so I turn the butter and sugar today. The Git stores the combination of butter and sugar today. Okay, for today. Tomorrow I whisk the egg. It stores the whisking of egg for day 2. Day 3, I combine I add flour to the butter, okay, and sugar. I add flour to the butter and sugar and continue turning. Git stores that for day 3. Let me say by day 4, I made a mistake. Okay, I now want to add more butter and basically spoil the cake. You know, once they tell you don't want initially, okay, learning how to bake a cake, you tell you you have to turn it one side, or you have to take a side either right or left, and you're consistent about turning it that way. Okay, so let us say and once you don't add that first ingredient, you don't add to it, or especially once you're done turning that butter and sugar mixture, and you start adding things like the flour or the egg inside. Okay, you don't add extra butter to it, that kind of thing, or add extra sugar. You don't do those things. Okay, that's how I was taught to bake it. So let's say, for instance, I now added butter on the fourth day, okay, which I was not supposed to do. And now it's kind of mixed. Going forward, the appearance of the cake was not really, it was not giving me what I wanted anymore, like the appearance, the texture, and everything. The whole point of Git is that I can go back to the point where before I made the mistake. So I made the mistake in day 4. I can go back to day 3, okay, and start from day 3, make the corrections I need to make, and move forward again. So that's what we call versioning. You version your changes. So the changes for the one can be version 1 or version 0.1. The changes for the 2 can be version 0.2. The changes for the 3 can be 0.3, like that, 0.4, 0.5. Along the way, if I revert back to version 3, if I made a mistake in day 4, if I'm reverting back to day 3, that would be 0.5. Going back to make another version 0.5, version 0.5, until you get to a stable version, which is my already made cake, which is 1.0. Okay, so basically you're versioning your changes. The changes are ongoing, and I can go back to a previous point in history to make changes. Okay. So that's it about Git. GitHub is a platform that uses the Git technology, but also more than that, it stores your repository. Okay, or it stores the cake. Now, take for instance the cake I'm mounting. It stores the cake. Okay, it's an online platform. Basically, it now stores the cake, the ingredients, whatever the cake is made of, it stores it. Okay. So that's where the whole concept of repository comes in. So when you say your GitHub repo, the repo itself, it's like a bucket. It's a container. It's a folder. It's a folder in GitHub that stores your code. Okay. So basically, anything can be stored in a folder. You have pictures can be stored there. Your codes can be stored there. I know codes. Okay, I think as we go further, we understand the nature of codes, the nature of files. As codes are stored in files, so those files are now stored in this folder. Okay, so those files can be stored in that folder. Videos can be stored in a GitHub repository. That's the folder I'm talking about too. Yes, they can be stored there. Basically, anything you can store in your normal folder in your computer system can be stored in the GitHub repo. Okay, so GitHub is very essential, not just only for back-end developers, front-end developers, Android developers, mobile developers, game developers, even technical writers. Yes, make use of GitHub. Okay. Or you can make use of GitLab, DevOps, engineering, machine learning, all make use of GitHub. So it's very essential that we get that. Okay, I would go to my terminal, and I want us to do a little exercise. Okay, I want us to do a little exercise on Git and GitHub. Okay. Another thing I want us to know is there's a way. Okay, before I go to my terminal, we have to know how to install Git, in our system and GitHub and all that. So one of the ways you can just do it is to go to your browser and just say install. Simple as that. Just type it on Windows. So either you have a Windows machine like I do, you can have a Linux. You have it for Linux. If you can have it for, I think it comes installed for Mac users. Yeah, I think it comes installed for Mac users. But at the same time, you can just install Git. One of the things that you will get to know, be able to use, or get to know as you program is, as you learn, is that Google is your best friend. So everything you want is in Google. You are stuck on anything, just go to Google and ask Google. You'll find one or two answers there. So one of the ways, this is the Git website. Okay, so you can just go there and to tell you on how to install it for both Mac OS, Windows, and Linux or Linux. Okay. You go there and basically install it for your system. I already have it, so I can easily check. I think the Git version. Okay. So one of the ways after installing it, if you want to check and be sure that it's really installed, is just for you to go to your terminal, okay, Git, and then the version. You can use, for Windows users, you can use CMD, that's your command line, but I prefer to use the Windows terminal. Okay, I have an integrated Windows terminal where I can do lots of things, but basically this is it. So Git version, and it tells you the Git version. This is 2.36.1. Let's see. I think they are in 2.37.3. So yes, I can update it if I want to, but I'm not sure I want to. I can see the same 2 points. Maybe by the time we get to 3 points, I would bulge. Okay. So that's that about installing Git. So you have to have Git installed on your system before you can be able to make use of GitHub. So the next thing is for you to register Git. Or sign up in GitHub. It's here, GitHub. So you come here. I'll just take you through the process. I think I have an email address that I have not, I have a spare email address that I've not used to sign up for GitHub. So I'll just walk you through the process of signing up. Okay. So once you sign up, I guess welcome to GitHub. It's basically it's an interactive way of signing up. I did have this email already signed in or signed up. So I'll use this email. Yeah, to create a password. Oh, I use okay. I'll use this. SammyBloom is not available. Sammy is not available. Sam is not available. Sam B is not available. It's not available. Okay. Um, um, you have to basically use a username that is unique to you. To tell you which is available, when it's available, and when it's not available. Okay. Until you get one that is available, you keep on trying. So just not to complicate matters, I will just use my um, whole name. Okay. And so it's telling me it's available, so I continue. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I would like to do that. Um, but you can say yes, definitely. It's just a preference. Yeah. So start a puzzle, pick the spiral. I think this looks like a spiral. Okay. I think this looks like a spiral too. So you create the account and I can just say it for easy yeah. Okay. Uh, I might have signed in to the just pray. I remember my password. Uh, my Google password for this account. Uh, my God. It's been a while I use this account. It's going to okay. Ooh, okay, let me try here. I think it's pre-saved somewhere in one of my browsers. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's pre-saved here. The browser said, okay, I know, no sense. Yeah. So I would those from since I've changed the to there. So we'll just wait for this whole process to okay. I'll just stop sharing right now. Uh, you guys not go picky into my email. So I will just want to go into the other email. Okay. Okay, so I got the GitHub launch codes. Okay. So I'm just going to copy the launch codes for my mail, and I think I can share my screen now. I'll share my screen with you. Okay, please verify. Okay, no. Okay, so I'll verify. I think that's it. Okay, so welcome to GitHub. How many team members you working with? Okay. Um, okay, this kind of dicey. I cannot say just me, even though I know I would later on join an organization that I would basically working with maybe a team of 5, a team of 3, a team of 10, a team of 20, 30, 30, 50, 50 plus, no matter how big the team is. But for now, that's pretty just me. Are you a student or a teacher? Well, I'm still I'm a student. I'm a teacher. Both. I think I'll just go with teacher. Okay, for this course. Okay. What specific features are you interested in using? Okay. This is where you can just put one or two or three, not depending on what you would be doing. For you guys at this early stage, as a backend developer, I would just suggest you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're going to go into project management later on, you tick project management. I'll put it tick everything because the accounts I can basically want in my I will not want to restrict myself. Okay, now I want every feature of GitHub. Basically, every feature of GitHub is available to everybody. Okay, all the features of GitHub. But I think they're doing this also to get the data. Okay, they get the data of people that are actually entering GitHub for this particular purpose and for that particular purpose, the whole collection of data. So it's just basically to collect the data and be able to improve on the products one way or the other. So it really does not matter here, but basically I do everything. So I will just security, client apps, and the community. So I'll continue. And okay, so we have two classifications here. Can be continue for free or apply for some benefits. Okay, since I'm a teacher, I want to automate my courses. These are some things I can use. Okay, but basically, I'm going for the free. Yeah, everybody go for the free. This is not some experience because at when I started using GitHub, this experience in setting up your GitHub account was not there. Awesome experience. Okay, so one of the things you can do is you can create a new repository. Another thing I would want to introduce you to again as you start off. This is an additional, not necessarily for the NodeJS course we're doing, but in a way of advertising yourself later on, that this is what you can do. And when you apply to companies, and basically one of the things that you will be required to send to them is your GitHub profile. And you don't want your GitHub profile to be in a mess. Okay, you want them to, by just clicking your GitHub profile, you want them to be able to see an overview of who you are, what you can do, the languages you're proficient in. And that's where this introduce yourself with a profile with me comes in. So you can just use this to create a profile with me. I won't go through that. And I think there are videos online that it's not relevant to Node.js, okay, our course, but it should be relevant to you when it comes to seeking a job. it's very important that you to be nice you do it. Okay, you can install the GitHub desktop, make it more kind of easy for us to go through GitHub. But having this account, one of the things that we need to do, like I said, we can create a new repository. A new repository is like where we want to store our codes. Okay, it can either be private or public. Public, everyone can see it. Private, just the people within. Uh, Only the people working on such projects, on that repository, okay, can see it. Okay, can see it basically. Any other person outside, the people working on that repository can't see it. So I'll just create a new repository. But before then, there's something I want us to look into. As backend developers, one of the things that you should be able to do is you should be able to use the command line interface CLI. Okay, I will just close this CLI. So CLI is the command line interface. Okay, and then this is basically what we have here. Our terminal, our command prompt, the applications whereby you can be able to make use of this command line interface. So with the command line interface, you can be able to go through the steps in creating a project, creating a repository, in everything you need to do. You need to do with GitHub as an application, okay, as a platform. Everything I can do here, okay, like by just clicking, going here, click there, okay, and I'll just put this somewhere here. Okay, come here, click, do that, click, I can do them by just writing some codes. Okay, I write some, or I'll call them commands. That commands as well. Like this Git version is a command, it's a Git command. So that what CLI is basically. So you need to make sure that GitHub's Git CLI is enabled in your system, or GitHub CLI, and then you can just so GitHub CLI. So you can download GitHub CLI with this. Okay, I know one of the questions that will come up is how come my browser gives me some of the things, these easy codes, as at when I search for anything code related. If I search for Node, it will give me something about Node. I'll just show you. I'm not trying to advertise a product. Okay, I'm not trying to advertise a product like all these things. Okay, it's for something I use an extension for that. So since I'm not advertising the product, I won't see it. So I'll just continue my class. Okay, so GitHub CLI, we will not use the one that was provided to us by the extension I have in my browser. I'll just use the so I can just download this for Windows, give me the exe file, and we'll move forward from there. Okay, so you have different commands. Create a new pull request, issue your pull request. You can see it's just changing, and these are some of the commands I can use the GitHub CLI to do. Okay, and one of the things that you should now be able to do is GitHub git configure. Okay, config. So very important, you configure your to tell GitHub, the GitHub that you GitHub or Git that you'll be using this particular profile or this particular account. Yes, I think that's the to this particular account, okay, to be able to work with the GitHub CLI. This is one of the essential commands you will have to do. So immediately you install GitHub, you install Git. The next thing is for you to configure your user. You do it once, it's a one-time thing. You don't do it every time. So once you've configured it, that's it. I already have mine configured, and it's not the GitHub account I just created in this class. Because it's the GitHub account I've been using ever since. So I can say, okay, git config user.email. If I don't have, it will prompt me to add or to see, to input the necessary user, okay, user email. Already have one, so it shows me that config user dot name, okay. So after the email, the next thing is name, and this is my name. So if I was to use the account I just created, here would be Samuel1 will be at gmail.com, and here will be Samuel1 will be, okay. So moving forward, we can create a repository here. So one of the things you can do is to create a repository or clone a repository, an existing repository. Right now, it's like we're not seeing anything, but if I go to, just give me a moment, I will go to GitHub here, to my own personal GitHub, the one I use. Okay, you can pass through various repositories. You can set repositories here. Okay, I would just want to do this. Let's look for a repository. Popular source projects. Yes. Okay. I think we already have one here. So you can just go to this is a GitHub project, and from look of things, it's a NodeJS project and it's open source. The open source is more like everybody can, anybody can could go and make changes to that repository, to the repository, make changes, make improvements to make the whatever they're doing better. So if this is an open source project, what I can do is I can fork the project first. Okay, when you want to contribute to open source, the first thing is to fork the project and then clone the project into my local computer, make the changes, push it to my already forked repository. Once it works well with my other forked repository, I make a pull request to this main repository. Okay, kind of. I know I'm blabbing right now, like I'm speaking Swahili. But as we go further, we'll be able to understand all these things as it demands. Okay, as the tutoring or the teaching demands. Okay, we'll go through all this. Okay, so basically, so this is one. So you can view other people's repository. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is another person's repository, not mine, but still my account that is here. You can see it's still my account, but another person's repository. I can view others, and I can create my own. So I'll just create one. Create a new repository. Repository name, just me. Okay, think that is accepted. Okay, and it's a public. It's public. I can change it to private here if I want to. I wouldn't want to add a README file. You can do that, add the README file, but I just like keeping it clean, and I would add the README file myself. Okay, when working with the project, so let's create a repository. Okay, when you create a new repository, an empty repository in GitHub, it gives you the steps you can take to get started. So one of the steps you could take is git init, git add readme, git commit, git branch, git remote, git push. Okay, I'll just go through this easy setup in a jiffy. Okay, I'll just try and go through it in a jiffy. Okay, so we can go on and talk about other things. So one of the things, applications you also need to, that is required for you to install is Visual Studio Code. It's very important. That's the, I would call it an integrated IDE, but that's the platform we're using. Because later I tend to ask a question that would give us some enlightenment into Visual Studio Code and why it is good for development. Okay, as we go further. So I will just open my Visual Studio Code and start off from there. Okay.
Samuel, we can see your screen.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. I thought it was shared all through. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So sorry about that. Oh, that means I have to backtrack. Okay. Okay, I don't know where it went off. Okay, my screen went off. Okay, I don't thought my screen was on all the entire time. So I'm so sorry about that. I don't know when it went off, but basically I have created my GitHub account. I have created a new repository. This is the new repository called Just Me. Okay, and I'm about to start working on with the new repository using Visual Studio Code. Okay, to install Visual Studio Code, you can just go to your new browser, just a new tab, and it's easy as download Visual Code. And you should be able to download it from here. Okay. So I'm so sorry. Okay, you can download this for the various OSs you have. Windows, this is for Linux, and then for Mac OS, you download it and you can be able to use it right away. For, okay, this is where I am now, and I want to, okay, I think I will just do this. Okay, yeah. I'm going to expose, create a new file. So basically, I think when you get started, you'll be greeted with something like this. Okay, this it says what I want to do is to open a folder so I can start working on, and then a file. But what I would do is to create the folder manually from here. This is where I store my, okay. This is JavaScript, NodeJS. Okay. Let's see, starter. Okay. So I would be using this folder. So basically, I can open Visual Studio Code even with my command line. Okay, CLI, command line interface I told you about. I think I would open it that way instead of going through this normal manual route. Okay, I'll close this now. So I can either say starter and right click and just say open with code. That's Visual Studio Code. But I won't do that. I would want to go through the CLI. So I will get this path. This is the path I'm getting. Control C, and I would CD. Well, CD means you're changing directory. I want to change my directory to that particular directory. So I CD into that path. This is the path. Users, tell documents, Visual Studio Code, protect JavaScript, Node.js. So there, I'm already there. But note, I am not yet in my starter directory. I'm just in the Node.js directory. If I say list, I'm going to list all that I have: Node Miller, Node Pen, Pent backend, and then I have starter. So I would CD into starter because that's where what I would be. That's where I'll be working with. But the folder I'll be working with. So CD into starter. So now I'm starter. If I do this, since starter is empty, it's going to give us something empty. So, like this. Okay, so I'm a starter. Way to enter into Visual Studio Code from here is to write code space full stop. Okay, code space full stop, and it will load Visual Studio Code in the directory, in that particular directory. You can see it's starter here, and there are no files, nothing, it's empty. Okay, so I can just put in a new file and just say about me dot assembly. Okay, no. Equal. Yeah, think just I want to create a readme file. So so like I said, okay, I've got what I want. Okay. So it's going to be about, so this is to create a new file. This is to create a new folder, where I'm creating a new file about and tells me she read me. Okay. So I can start. README usually use what we call a markdown language. As you progress, I think you will to get no more. I think it's in your. It's also it should be in your the materials that you have. Okay, so I'll just write some markdown language. Yeah. There was just a little about me. Okay. So, and add the training and so on. Okay. Basically, I've created a file in my starter code, but this whatever I've done now, it's independent of whatever I've done in GitHub. Okay, so this what I've done in GitHub Visual Studio Code has nothing to do with okay. Okay, has nothing to do with this whatever I've done. Okay, it has nothing to do with it. Two different things, but we'll go to the steps of bringing these two together. Whatever I've done in my Visual Studio Code and then my GitHub, that will be done using the. Okay, right now we want to close this the terminal. I want to close this because Visual Studio Code comes with its own terminal. Okay, I can bring it out by doing Control backtick for Windows. I don't know what the command is for Mac OS. Okay, but it should be pretty the same for Linux. Okay, so this is my terminal, and we'll go through the. I'll just divide my screen now, and we'll go through the commands that have been listed here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is git. Normally, okay, they are assuming that I named this readme. Okay, I could rename this about me to readme. Okay, so that it could just see it as a readme file since it's using the .md extension. Okay, so I will just rename it to readme. Okay, so git init. Normally, if you have created a project, more like you may not say git readme. Okay, like git add then readme, as you see here. What I just do is git add full stop. It means git add all. So all the folders, all the all the files inside the starter folder is going to add everything. Okay. It's not going to just pick readme. Right now we have only readme, so it's going to add only readme. If I add additional files inside the starter folder, it's going to add everything. So this is the command I usually use: git add all. Okay, git add all. So I'll use that instead of git add readme. Okay, and then git commit. This is star GitHub. Okay, fast changed. Okay, so it's calling this there are a slight changes GitHub made before the principal place where codes are stored. They call them branches. Branches is like having a different folder inside that main folder where you can store inside it, like you have a repository, a big repository, but then I now like want to, just like a tree, I want to have different branches, still the same tree, but different branches. So I have a master branch and I have a development branch, for instance. Okay, the principal branch for GitHub initially, after when GitHub started, was master. The name was called master, but recently it was changed to main. Okay, um, using the command line interface, it will still be a master. Okay, so there's a way we have to change it to main. Okay, and that's where this command comes in. It was changed from master to main. You can see it's showing master here in my CLI or in my terminal. In my terminal, it's showing master. Okay, so I can change it to branch. So it changes from master to main. Okay, going in line with the recent configurations. So git remote add origin. Okay, so this is the code that actually connects whatever you are doing on your Visual Studio Code to your GitHub online GitHub repository. This is the code that does the actual trick. Okay, every other thing is like setting up ground for it to happen. Okay, the code that actually does the connection is git remote add origin. Okay, later you will know about, okay, why origin, why remote. Okay, and you can be able to know more about that. So for me to be able to get this, this is what I call the HTTP for my GitHub profile. This is my, for me, I would just that's the URL. Sorry, the URL for my GitHub repo. I'll just say copy here. Or if you want to more stress, to highlight and copy from here, but I won't do that. I'll just copy it from here and then I'll paste it. Press enter, and the connection is already done. So what I just want to do now is to push whatever I have here in my local system, in my Visual Studio Code. I want to push it to what I have here. I want to just push it to my GitHub repo here. Okay, and the command that does the actual pushing. But what commit does is that it stages your changes. It stages your changes for pushing. Okay, and it puts it like, when you're how I put it, if you ever been in a place where production is going on, they're producing things, okay, before things go for shipment, before they are shipped, they are taken to the warehouse, okay, they're then taken to the warehouse. Now that warehouse is like commit. You are staging it for shipment. That's what commit does. It stages your changes for it to be pushed to GitHub. So the command to push is git push origin main. So initially it would have been master, like I said, the branch. If it was the dev branch, where if we created a dev branch, okay, another branch called dev, or another branch called Samuel, or another branch called Tayo, depending on people's names, that could have been Samuel. Git push origin Samuel, that's the name of the branch, or dev, Tayo, or as the case may be. But right now, we're pushing straight into the main branch. Okay, before okay, I'll just do that and allow it to go. Then I want to talk on this before we reload this page. So if you are pushing into an existing repository, you're not creating a new repository, not from a new repository. Okay. Also to someone just me. Okay. And fair enough. Fair enough. It's denied because in my in my Visual Studio Code, the account that is there, and I wouldn't want to change it. I wouldn't want to change it. The account that is there is my main account, except I'm going to sign out and all that. So much process. I don't want to go through that. So basically, by the time you push this code, that's what you will get. I think I can. What is the way to do? What way to do it? Okay. So instead of using this account, I'll use my main account because I don't want to sign out of my main account. So I will just quickly just do a new GitHub profile here. And just about okay. Public. Okay, so I've gone through the process, but we're making a slight change. Okay, since the URL obviously has changed. This is the new URL, different from the one we used. Here it says GitHub SammyBloom will be just me. Here, the one we're going to be using says SammyBloom, just about me. Git. Okay, so a slight change, okay, which we can easily rectify by since we've already done the remote, set the remote URL, okay, what we have to do is to reset it again, okay. The command to do that, I will just I will be doing certain things so as to enable you know how to search for certain things on Google. Okay, to take for instance, I don't know the command. It was not listed here, obviously. The command to change your remote URL. So not listed there, and I want to do that. So how do I go about it? Basically, is to ask Google. How do I ask Google? You can just say change URL of GitHub repo. Oh, does that sound nice? No. Uh, um, change origin. Okay, I think that sounds a little bit better. It will give me a more accurate results. So the fact that I'm not even seeing it with my extension means I might be in a little bit of trouble. But let's go into the first one and see what it has to say. Um, but it gives us a way out. Yeah, it basically gives us the right command. So it's git remote set URL. Then we go with the remote name and then the remote URL. So the remote name is usually origin. It's origin I use. So it's basically going to be git remote set URL origin. So I will go to Visual Studio Code and set URL. I just origin, and then I would paste what I copied um, the URL that this I already copied it already. So I will be pasting it here. Okay. And it does that. So if I do git push, it will go, since this is the account that I already set up with my Visual Studio Code. So you can also do the same. You can set up your account, a GitHub account with Visual Studio Code. So this is why I want to let you know where there are some changes now. So what I just need to do is to refresh this page. and I will see what I did in my PC. Okay, so this is it. So with this, I have already gone through creating a GitHub account. We've gone through staging your GitHub for pushing your GitHub changes, or staging your changes to be pushed to GitHub, and then actually pushing these changes to GitHub. So I would just want to look at questions. Okay. So I will stop sharing so that I can be able to look at your questions. Okay. Okay. I would just want to go through. Okay, VS Code. Okay, one of the things I'm just going through your comments. Okay, and I will just try to give simple answers to questions in your comments. Someone is asking how we entered VS Code. Okay, VS Code is the platform we use to write our codes. Okay, so I think that was the period my uh, sharing went off, and I'm so sorry about that. But basically, you go to you can just go to Google and just say search download VS Code, okay, and the first search option you find, you click on it, okay. That's going to basically take you to HTTPS, basically code.visualstudio.com. Yes, code.visualstudio.com, and you'll be able to download Visual Studio. So I went into Visual Studio to create a folder. I created a folder basically manually, went to documents, my computer documents, created a folder somewhere. I like putting it into my documents. You could put it in your desktop, you could put it in your downloads, as the case may be, whatever works best for you. So I like my Visual Studio projects to be in my documents. So I created a folder for it, and I created a folder for that, and then from there I opened Visual Studio Code there. Okay, and basically that's how we entered Visual Studio Code after creating the GitHub repository. If you didn't follow when I created that first GitHub repository, at least when I created the second GitHub repository, you saw everything I was talking about. Okay. Okay, the repository stuff and CLI, you saw how we meant when I did it the second time, you saw how I created repository. For CLI, it's okay. Uh, basically, okay. I would like to just share my screen once again. I'll share my screen once again so you can be able to see what I did with the CLI. Okay, and I'll just be sharing those in my terminal. So you can use command prompts for CLI. Okay, I like using the Windows PowerShell. You can use Windows PowerShell for those people using Windows. I think Mac OS comes with their own terminal. Linux, of course, comes with their own terminal also. Um, so I would be using. I'll be using the terminal. Okay. So I can see I downloaded a terminal preview from Microsoft Store. Terminal preview helps me to you can just preview means basically I want to be on top of the latest version of terminal, Windows terminal that is being produced. That's why it's called, the one I downloaded is called Microsoft terminal preview or terminal preview. But in Microsoft Store, you can just download Windows terminal, okay, for those using Microsoft. For those, like I said, Linux, or you already have your inbuilt terminal. Mac OS already has its own input terminal. I like using PowerShell. But why I chose terminal, okay, instead of just going straight into PowerShell to open my PowerShell through the terminal is I can be able to select a variety of terminals I have already installed in my system. So the one I'm using now is Windows. We have Windows PowerShell normally. We have command prompts. I installed PowerShell, which is quite different from Windows PowerShell. Okay. Off, I installed PowerShell from the Microsoft Store still. Okay. Git bash came in when I installed Git. Is the shell for Git. Okay. Azure Cloud Shell came when I installed some things for the cloud. Okay. Developer command prompt. This one's also came out when I installed Visual Studio. Now there's a difference between Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio is the IDE, Integrated Development Environment, Visual Studio. It's heavy, okay? Visual Studio Code is a lightweight version, kind of. It's lightweight. And that's why we usually use Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. And I have a WSL Ubuntu as a Linux sub-Linux system in my Windows. And that's why I can be able to make use. That's why I'm making use of terminal, so you don't get confused. Okay. So one of the things I did was go into, like I said, I prefer to use documents. I just want to go through it again. Documents, Visual Studio. I created a folder in documents called Visual Studio Code Projects. Since I'm working on different things, I'm working on DevOps, I'm working on front end, I'm working on back end. Personally, for you, it's going to be, it can be only back end. You can just create a folder inside that Visual Studio Code project, or whatever you feel, wherever you feel you want to create the folder that you want to be working on. I just like a little bit of arrangements and systematic stuff for me. Okay. Java Studio, NodeJS. Okay. So this is I got the path. Okay. You won't be able to see it because I'm not sharing that particular this thing. I got the path to where my where I created the folder that I want to store my codes in my local system. I got the path to that place. Okay, and this is the path. What I did was, this is kind of the path. Okay, Node.js. I will just add starter. Okay, so this is the path that I choose to store. This is the main directory I created, starter directory, that I say, okay, I want to store my codes in. Okay, whatever I'm going to do, whatever I'm going to be doing now. Let me say I got a contract to do Instagram, the back end. Instagram is using Node.js, so I got the contract to do Instagram. Okay, I want Instagram to be inside starter. I don't want to. I could create a folder called Instagram if I wanted, but I created a folder called starter. Like I said, it's depending on your choice. Okay, there's no hard rule to these things on your naming system. I decided to name it starter, the folder I'm going to be working on. Okay, so starter is inside a folder called Node.js. Node.js is inside a folder called JavaScript. JavaScript is inside a folder called Visual Studio Code Projects. Visual Studio Code Projects is inside the documents, which is inside definitely my system. Okay, so I will just copy, since I added starter, I will just copy this again, Control C. Okay, I can now basically, so to go into that particular folder in using your terminal or your command line, okay, you do CD. CD means I'm changing directory. Change directory, CD. So I CD into, I will paste the path. This is the path. So once I press enter now, it will, anything I'm going to be doing from henceforth, any code, any command I'm going to be writing in my, okay, I'll just press enter. So now every command I'm going to be writing here is going to only pertain to this starter directory or starter folder that I created. Okay, you can see main here. Oh, this whole thing, I did it myself. This may not be how your system would look. Okay, that's something I decided to. I was exploring and I did it. Okay, so it's on YouTube and I explored. Decided to give it a try. So it just tells me, okay, I'm in the starter folder. This starter folder is already connected to GitHub because we've already gone through a process of getting it and all that initialized, and we did everything. And that's why you can see it. It gives us the branch we are on, which is main. I think, yeah, as at when we went from main to master, I think I should think that you saw that, okay, that how we went from master to, how we changed it from master to main. Okay, so basically anything now I do here, any code, any command I write now is only going to affect starter. It's not going to affect NodeJS, it's not going to affect JavaScript. It's just part. I'm going, basically hitting the nail at the head, starter directory. Okay, so what I will do again is I want to open Visual Studio Code from here, from my terminal. This is one of the easiest ways to open Visual Studio Code, that will just take you straight to the directory you'll be working on. Like I said, I'm working on the starter directory. I now cd'd, okay, I changed my directory, okay, in my terminal to the starter directory. So what I just do is code full stop. Okay, and it will open Visual Studio Code for me in the starter directory. Okay, I know you're not seeing it already, but my Visual Studio Code is already opened in the starter directory. When that Visual Studio Code installed, once you put code space full stop, it will open Visual Studio Code on the directory you are on, okay, in your command line interface. Okay, that's basically how we went from there to there. Okay, I'll stop sharing again and then go through some of your questions. Okay. Okay, for those people that are just joining, okay, what I would tell you to do is, okay, you can either rewatch this video, but before you rewatch this video, I want you to go through the content that was given to you, okay, on the LMS. You go through that content and you'll be able to understand, okay. those contents are quite elaborate, okay? And then we can maybe in our next class, you can be able to bring up your questions. You can use the form. The form is already posted in our LMS, and that's the form we're using for this week. Okay, all through this week we'll be using that form. Next week, a new form will come out, and then we use another form for next week. But for this week, we'll be using that form. So post your questions there. I will look into them, and then we will go through those questions in our next class tomorrow. Okay. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so sorry because I'm going through the comments now, the chats, and it's like many people are confused, and it's largely due to the fact that my screen went off or that you joined late. Okay, that might the largely due to the fact that my screen went off or you joined late. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, but don't worry, we get a hang of things pretty soon. And once you go through the content, and if you're not satisfied with the content, you can go through this class again. Okay. For having this session on Zoom, okay, the whole idea is Zoom may not be able to contain everybody that is supposed to be here. Okay, based on the plan that we are on. Okay, on Zoom. Okay, Zoom is pretty expensive, if you know. Okay, so we may not be able to do that, accommodate every single person. Okay, and that's why we're using this method. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this class. We would see you tomorrow, definitely.